You didn't mention my company of the year because even
last that's my baby too. But go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, so yeah, Microsoft. Obviously, we saw Apple's earnings last week. It was a big tech earnings, and then Amazon just came through and crushed it. Right, they saw ASW 19 billion, almost 20 billion in revenue. Advertising went over 8.76 billion. I think they officially now passed Google and YouTube for advertising dollars. Revenue,
which is insane.
7%. Like nobody is even thinking of Amazon in terms of advertising, but revenue growth was over 7%. But the most important number was the guidance, the future guidance. And we always talk about where the projection is for the next 2 or 3 quarters. And they're looking at a 13% growth in the third quarter and a 17% growth in the fourth. So we're talking about $125 billion quarter for the third and $130 billion quarter for the fourth. Remember when, what was it, maybe 12 months ago when Apple was the first company to have $1 billion quarter?
Mm-hmm.
Now their projections are saying they're about to have 3 within the same year. Amazon's at a different place. And we spoke about them in detail last week about the acquisitions. But this is a monster, yo. This is one of the monsters that you have to be a part of. I mean, Apple, obviously, Microsoft. I'm putting Amazon right now.
Yeah, and I have Amazon going to 210.56. It's been one of the primary picks in Stock Club forever. So when you said, I'm like, yes, and we're not biased. But if you have to pick from Kmart or even Walmart.com, you may not get your package when they say, and it's another keynote in business that you guys are great on. Whatever you say that you're going to do and deliver, it gets done. We're like, yo, it's the biggest. And then it's like, some other big shit. I'm like, yo, how y'all? Like, if you look at this lineup, and I've been out, Money Show has not had a lineup like this. No disrespect to them. I love them. But to put on these cast of people and not pay $9 million to get them, it's almost impossible. So as entrepreneurs, please write down, you have to over deliver. Even last night, I was tired, came back, dropped off Xander. Xander was up to 4:00 after he won his dance battle. I told people I was going to go to the booby trap. Didn't want to go, but because I told people I was going to go, we left here at 4:00, left. The sun came out, felt like a vampire, right? Had a little blast, but keep your word. How many business people do you guys know who started out before you, but they ruined their brand because they didn't keep what they said they was going to do? A lot of people fell by the wayside. Won't put out content every week. It's hard. Most people would have just celebrated, say, hey, man, I ain't going to do the show this week. No. Show must go on. Show must go on. So kudos to Amazon, Microsoft. Bitcoin would be good. Ethereum Classic had a nice run. Yeah, so shout out to the companies that are producing at a higher level. Shout out to
impeccable with your word. That's the number one agreement.
Have to.
And 4 agreements. Let me ask you this. What does Shopify layoffs mean for the rest of the market?
Unfortunately, and I like the CEO. It was one of my favorite picks in 2020, but Shopify and all the e-commerce brands that have not over-delivered and have not adjusted to being like a top 5 company or having top 5 infrastructure, it means that the companies that are not as talented or don't have as many resources, they are going to float to the bottom of the pool. They're going to be like a second-round draft pick. So Amazon, Microsoft, the classics, Google, first-round draft picks easily. So LeBron, Jordan, Kobe, Steph, right? Everyone else now is second tier. Because in 2020, when money's flowing around, it felt like everything was equal. Etsy, even Pinterest, even though I like it a lot, if it's not a clear hell yes, every stock has to go to second tier. ARK, second tier. But one of her funds is becoming unwound. If you are having to ask the question, hey, is this stock good? Now we're playing bully ball. We're going back to Jordan rules, 1989, hard fouls. There's a clear separation between the top 5 assets, top 5 companies, top 5 media companies, and everyone else. Now is not a time to gamble and hope maybe in 5 years it's to turn into something big. If you're trading it or swing trading it, great, but don't turn these short-term investments into a long-term holding, hoping that it's going to go up. So Shopify, I think, is just like a canary in a coal mine, telling us but that a lot of companies like them and under are not going to do that well, and they're going to get pushed to the wayside over these next 2 years. And going back to your point, Troy, it's still Shopify versus Amazon. People can say whatever they want to. It's a lot of companies I like, but if Jay comes out and it's another little young smoothie king comes out, I'm going with Jay. I don't care how hot he is in Memphis. Shout out to everybody in town or Atlanta. The certain classic ones are going to win over and over again.
It's a brand you can trust.
One more question before we bring our guest on. How long would be in a flat environment for the market?
Probably 24 months, man. I'm gonna be honest. Like now, the great part is for entrepreneurs that are serious, and there's Dom and I was talking about this earlier. My dad and I this weekend, and I'll ask you guys. I feel like in this era, there's greater opportunity for Black entrepreneurs than ever, but people don't want to do the work. They see the success but I'm like, it took me 15 years to be overnight success. I know I feel like to a lot of people, I came out of nowhere. I was posting about this in 2008, and I was been an entrepreneur since 2003 before Get Rich or Die Trying came out. That was a monumental moment when the album came out because that was my soundtrack going to the gym. Like, shit, 50 talking all this money. Let's get to it, right? I really believe these next 24 months will be rough, and those who have been disciplined will be incredibly rewarded. Those who have not will be extremely punished. For my traders, don't give up on your journey. I know the ride is tough. I know options isn't as easy. Crypto isn't as easy. But if you look right now, and I said it before, there isn't any hedge fund right now that can guarantee you 2% per month or per quarter for 10 years. Your number one focus as a trader should be able to get returns in any environment. If so, you have the chance to be a multi-billionaire. But same thing, back to consistency, back to sticking to a plan, back to not deviating. And these valleys are when the real cream are going to rise to the top, and those that do are going to make a lot of money, and then your leisure will be earned. If I've made you get money, please put yes in chat. Because, like, honestly, you guys could be off. Like, okay, tell me about your weekend. Y'all went to Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Run me through everything since then.
Yeah, I mean, well, first it started. Oh yeah, shout out to American Family Life Insurance for hosting us in Milwaukee. So yeah, we started with Friday. We went to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and Saturday we had an event in Milwaukee where we spoke to youth and we spoke to adults, and we took pictures. We met the mayor, we met the CEO of American Family Life Insurance. Actually, even before that, Friday we went to Milwaukee. We went to a marketplace for Black businesses and met about 20 entrepreneurs. Had conversations. Felt like real politicians, like, moving around, getting stories, getting the history of Milwaukee, their issues, got the lay of the land. And then Saturday we had the event, met the mayor, gave a speech, gave another speech, took a bunch of pictures, gave an interview. And then we had to rush to the airport because we had to catch the flight to Miami, but there was no direct flights from Milwaukee to Miami. So we caught a connecting flight, and that was issues because it was like hovering.
Crazy.
It was hovering around Atlanta for like 45 minutes before it landed.
Oh,
so
gosh.
by the time we actually got to our gate, the flight had actually closed. The doors closed. So they like, yo, it's nothing we can do, bro. Like, they closed the doors. So then, we had to go back and forth with them. They brought a manager over, they opened the doors. So we actually got on the plane. We was in first class, and they tried to kick us out of first class, and they put us in comfort plus, and they put us back in first. It was a whole issue. But then we landed in Miami, and we landed at 9:00. The boat left at 10, so we had to go to the hotel.
Trey be like, don't leave. I'm like, I promise you, I will not leave you.
Took a quick shower, and got on the boat. Was on the boat, got off the boat. Went to booby trap. Troy didn't go.
I did not go to booby trap.
Me and AB did.
I just missed y'all by a couple hours.
Yeah. But then we had to leave there, pack our stuff. We left to go to the airport at 5:30 for the 7:00 flight. Landed in New York. I just, got something to eat real quick. Got changed. Went to Jacob Javits Center. Went to DJ Envy and Caesar's seminar. Shout out to them. Thank you for having us. Spoke with them, had interviewed MG the mortgage guy, fireside chat, and came back, did some content, went to Troy's house. All in a day's hustle.
While planning the biggest.
Oh yeah, that thing.
Yeah.
And
this is one weekend.
Just a side note, the marketplace that we went to was called Sherman Phoenix. I want to give a big shout out to Joanne. She's actually from our town. but it's a marketplace. And think of it as a co-working space mixed with businesses of all likes. And so you can get hot wings, you can get a haircut, or you can get your nails done, your lashes done, you get some popcorn, get your taxes filed, all in the same place. And so it's one of the most encouraging things I've ever seen. It becomes like an epicenter of business, especially for young entrepreneurs. You know, they have the fourth largest population of Black entrepreneurs in the country. And so a lot of them get to start their businesses inside this marketplace and they grow out of it. And so if they ever need a storefront or brick and mortar, this is a place where they can come to do it and then they can expand out. So it was an amazing thing that we got to witness, and something I definitely want to replicate in our community, and everybody should want to do, just to give
Absolutely
opportunities for businesses. So shout out to her and shout out to Sherman Freeman.
Yeah, but it's a lesson for entrepreneurs. I say all that. I wanted to give extreme detail, not to just overly just exaggerate the situation, but I wanted to just paint a real picture of entrepreneurship, because a lot of times it's just glamorized. It's just, you know, just having fun, spending money, but this is the daily grind that we do. And Abdullah,
we'll be honest, most of it is not fun. Like, even that, it sounds good, but even for brand presentation, you know, Troy was shot very detailed. Troy, you had on some ish. I see you, Shotty. I don't know where you got the Versace silk, you know what I mean? But even that brand presentation is key. Some people are like, why can't you just show up in hoop shorts? And people are like, damn, I thought y'all doing good. Yeah, the audio went bad one episode. You're like, man, I thought y'all was making money. Why the audio bad? Shout out to Jay, right? All of that matters. And I want to give you guys a key detail. We got some entrepreneurs in here. For those of you who have not made your first million yet, you have to set your mind on getting at least 20,000 tasks done per year. That's about 54 tasks a day. Now, if you ask them how many they get done per day, and I want to see AB's text list, it's way more than that.
yeah, he's a machine.
Way more than that, right? It's just volume in. I know you guys want an easy answer, like, man, how can I get the bag? And I'm like, okay, great. You're going to have to work your face off for decades, and then people are going to be like, yo, dog, you got lucky after you work 14 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you guys saw, like, my kids with me. He wasn't having the greatest time every time. Then the dance battle came. He gave my brother some smoke. I'm sorry. My baby had to watch you on the dance floor. But even being a dad, like, you have to do all of that and manage being a good person and growing. It's not easy. But I tell you, when you put those hours in and you have impact, and to see my family and friends and like, yo, I'm proud of you, it makes all the sacrifice worth it. So to all my entrepreneurs who've been putting in work, if your time has not come, it will come, but set your mind on 20,000 tasks per year to get to that $1 million range plus.
Yeah, and it's like, I was talking to AB last week, and, you know, he's running around crazy. We all running around crazy. And he's like, yo, when we gonna get a vacation? And I told him, I'm like, we on vacation. I'm like, you can have a regular job.
Facts, and be stressing.
Yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we get to travel around. At the end of the day, we blessed. And it's like, that's important to keep that in perspective as an entrepreneur. Like, just to be able to wake up whenever you want is a blessing. That's a blessing, because 99% of people will never even have that level of freedom. Just to be able to, you know, go to your son's basketball game is a blessing, because you could be working a regular job where you don't have that freedom, you don't have that flexibility. So it's like, we running around, we in Milwaukee, we in Miami, we in New York, but you gotta really love the process. And yeah, that's why I told him, like, we on vacation. Every day is vacation.
My graduates from my school being Forbes, bag drop.
Bag drop.
A mic drop, bag drop.
Bag drop.